Hell and Back is a claymation comedy which was released in 2015 and is one of the most obvious examples of contract law. The story begins with three childhood friends late at night in the amusement park that they own and operate together. In one of the opening scenes, Kurt receives a letter of foreclosure from the bank. In the following scene, Remy enters the gypsy's trailer. As he walked in, the gypsy pulled the Fool card from the tarot deck. In the tarot, the Fool is the first card of the deck, symbolizing an individual who is about to embark on a new journey. A novice, trusting the universe by stepping into the abyss and greeting the world without fear. When she pulled the card, she informed Remy that he is haunted by the dark lords of the sea, and the power is within him if he chooses to look for a sign. Remy then sought and took one of the gypsy's books, entitled The Book of Beelzebub. Remy opened the book and saw an oath inside with a picture of the devil crying. Acting on impulse, Remy took the book, exclaiming it's the key to saving the park, and he propped it up against one of the rides in hopes of attracting more customers. Remy then pops a breath mint into his mouth. Seeing this, Kurt asks for one as well. Remy concedes on the condition that Kurt pays him back right after. Kurt agrees and says the oath, swearing over the Book of Beelzebub that he will pay Remy back, thus now indebting Kurt to Remy. By swearing with the book, Kurt enters a legal contract with the devil being a third party. Acting as a witness, Augie says yes, it's official. Remy immediately asks for a breath mint, and Kurt says he doesn't have any, thus defaulting on his loan and dishonoring the contract. At that exact moment, a portal opens up, sucking Kurt into it. By swearing to the Book of Beelzebub, Kurt consented to leaving the jurisdiction of common law and entered into the jurisdiction of the devil. If you remember my Little Mermaid video, we know that the devil is the planet Saturn, which is associated with business, government, and man's law. Remy and Augie followed after Kurt, landing in hell. Here we can see demons abusing a homogeneous and dejected-looking slave class. We can assume all of these beings are souls that have broken contracts, fallen into debt, and are now here to pay for their sins. We next see Kurt in Satan's office. Knowing that Satan is symbolic for government and law, I want you to take a closer look at the composition of this scene. We can see that the devil is standing in an elevated position while Kurt is pleading his case. It looks a lot like a courtroom with the judge and defendant. However, we can see that there are no witnesses in the room. It's just the two of them speaking in private chambers. We can also take note that the devil is petite and pink when he is in quiet, peaceful negotiation with Kurt. The two agreed that if Kurt helped Satan win over the love of Satan's life, that Satan will let Kurt live, and they signed a new contract together. Kurt's original contract was with Remy. However, because he swore to the devil's book, he then opened the door to Satan being a third party. Once Kurt and the devil agreed to a new contract, this superseded his old one with Remy. While heading to the public side of the court, Satan morphed back into the big red version of himself. Amongst the adulation of the demon audience, Satan doubled back on his word, eating the new contract he just made and stating that he would kill Kurt after all. Although a valid contract, the devil was able to lie because there weren't any witnesses or recorder in private chambers, and Kurt didn't properly assert himself on the public side. Remy and Augie, along with the help of an angel and demon, tried to rescue Kurt, but Satan shot them down and they fell into the forest. Forests symbolize deception and being a lost soul. For example, Little Red Riding Hood was deceived by the wolf and took the wrong path in the forest. There were Hansel and Gretel, who were lost, then deceived and eaten by a witch. Adam and Eve were deceived by the snake and cast out of the garden into the forest. And more recently in the movie Get Out, the main character was deceived by his girlfriend and had to fight his way out of the forest. With this in mind, we can conclude that these 5 characters are lost souls in hell. In other words, they are stuck in the swing of man's law and out of the protection of common law. The trio were then captured by the trees in the forest. One held Kurt upside down, and a mint fell out of Kurt's breast pocket and onto Remy's lap. Remy exclaimed, "You had a mint this whole time?" If you remember the beginning of the movie, the gypsy told Remy that he's haunted by the dark lords of the sea, and he has the power within him. First, let's talk about the Dark Lords of the Sea. I think Dark Lord is easy enough to figure out. But how is it of the sea? Well, this is referring to maritime law. Maritime law deals with commerce out at sea and is synonymous with admiralty law, which deals with the executive side of government. From the conception of our nation until 1933, maritime and admiralty law was kept out at sea. This is important because maritime and admiralty deals with commercial and corporate affairs at sea, whereas common law deals with human rights and inheritances on land. Having these two separated are important because this division protects living beings, their property and land, from corporate greed, extortion, and theft. With the stock market crash, desperate Americans started volunteering into the corporate side of the United States, thus bringing maritime and admiralty law to land. Thus, the Dark Lord of the Sea is our maritime and admiralty laws on steroids, creating a corporatocracy. But once again, we volunteered into this system, which means we can volunteer out of it as well. You have the power within you. When Remy ate the mint that fell out of Kurt's pocket, this honored the original contract, and Kurt's debt was paid, opening the portal and taking all three of them back to their amusement park, where it is now daylight. The trio saw that people had left a pile of gold and silver at the foot of the Devil's Book, saving the park from foreclosure. When enough people peacefully emerge back into common law, we can begin to rebuild our God-given wealth once more. I would like to thank everyone for watching and hope to see you here again soon. In the meantime, take care. Love and light.